If you're just getting started with data engineering, it can feel like there are a million different skills you need to learn just to get a job or just to be successful or credible in the industry. But despite all of the different lists and roadmaps, and I have my own on this channel, I still believe the most important skill you need to have is an understanding of SQL. For some reason, over the years, it feels like this has been brushed off or just taken for granted. Maybe it's because it's been around forever and it's not the new and exciting tech. But in this video, I want to just take some time to explain 4 reasons why I still believe SQL is the most important thing you should be learning, and why, despite everything else that gets the headline, this can still be the best use of your time for things to learn and get better at in your career. So number 1 is that interacting with SQL is where you're going to probably spend most of your day-to-day time as an engineer or maybe even an analyst, because it's really where the core job responsibility lies. So things like building a data warehouse, creating stored procedures, creating data pipelines and data transformations. Yes, there are going to be different edge components to maybe trigger things or write automations, and that's where you start to learn different skills. But as I think back through most of my career, which is now almost over a decade, most of it is spent writing SQL in some capacity. And that leads into another common topic, which is data modeling. That's something people want to learn about, but it's going to be difficult to implement a good data model in a database if you can't write SQL. And I think we both understand that a lot of job descriptions are kind of ridiculous nowadays. They list out a ton of different experiences and tools and things that you need to learn. But I can tell you from experience that the real day-to-day requirements of most of these jobs is going to be writing SQL in some capacity. It's just for some reason, everybody wants to cover every possible scenario. It's also going to play a huge role in the different technical conversations you have with your team. So being able to understand what's going on, be able to write it, talk about it, it's so important and going to play a huge part in your day-to-day life, and a big reason why I think you should learn it. And this leads into reason number 2, which is it's a foundational skill for your entire data career. It's something that you can continue to build on as you go forward, and it's going to make you stand out. I think a lot of people look at it like it's just this beginner level skill that you need to have, and then you forget about it and move on to other exciting things. But that's just not the case. I really do look at it like a foundational pillar skill that you need to have for your whole career, and everything else is going to build on top of it. If you try to just skip over that or just get basic level understanding and start moving on to more advanced concepts and tools, at some point you're going to be making things more difficult on yourself because you're missing a really core component. Whereas if you already have a really strong and deep understanding of SQL, all these other things are going to become easier to use, and you're just going to be able to understand how it all interacts. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the video. I just want to hop in real quick to say that if you want some more guidance on navigating the modern data landscape, maybe you're new to it or you just want a refresher on some things, I do have a free guide that I put together called the Starter Guide for Modern Data. It's completely free. It'll break down some of the common designs and components that you'll see so that you can better navigate it, have a little more clarity on it going forward. So if that's something you're interested in, I'll have a link in the description and the first comment below. With that said, let's now get back to the video. Reason number 3 is that there are still so many poorly written queries out there. And really what that means is there's a lot of opportunity. For example, overly complicated logic that's redundant and just rabbit holes of SQL queries that over time has gotten worse. And this leads to costs in the terms of probably the computation is high, the time to debug and for developers to look through it is really high because it's not straightforward of what the answer is. I don't know if it's from maybe a lack of skill set or understanding, or if there was a time crunch and things had to be done quickly. Either way, I can tell you just from being on a lot of teams and working with a lot of companies that there's a lot of opportunity there. People need help writing SQL. So that's a big reason why I really think you should not only understand the basics, but go deeper and be able to look at other people's code and very quickly understand where things are out of place, where they can be improved. And you can have an entire career truly just on that, even if you know nothing else. So if you're somebody who can come in and have a really strong understanding of SQL, there's going to be opportunities for you and people will want to work with you. And reason number 4 is that SQL is integrated in so many different data tools, and I'm talking old tools and new ones. And this includes drag and drop tools. This includes version controlled tools. So many different tools that you're going to use day to day in your career will include SQL. This includes data ingestion, data transformation, orchestration, automation, all sorts of stuff. There are elements of SQL. So being able to use it isn't just always confined to the database. Now, the database for sure is where you'll use it the most, but I want to make the point that it's not just limited to that. You're going to see this across other tools as well. So it's really important that you understand it. So hopefully now you have a better understanding of why SQL is such an important skill to learn as a data engineer, and why I typically recommend it to be the main thing that people focus on, especially when they're just getting started. If you found this helpful and you want some more resources from me, there'll be a link in the description below as well as the first comment. But otherwise, thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you at the next video.